Do people actually see us, or is it just radio? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's okay, yeah. We are on radio and TV. Hello and welcome to the Dr. Elisa Show here on KUHS Denver, the stream. Welcome. If you're a new listener, welcome. And if you've been coming back, you know what, I'd love some feedback from you. What is it that is keeping you inspired and wanting you to listen to my show? Because I so appreciate you. Again, the tagline for the show, you know what, I gotta tell you, I jump back and forth. Sometimes it's ignite a renaissance, sometimes it's inspire a renaissance. Either one. What I'm hoping to do is wake up something within you. You know, when I teach, I was an academic dean and a faculty professor for 25 years, I would tell my students, if you left my class with more questions than answers, it was a great class. It was really good. So, if you're here and you're listening and you leave with more questions, then that's great. That's awesome. So, what is today about? So, just so you know, I'm checking my technology, which is something I'm always having to do in here. Today is kind of special. First off, I have a couple guests with me, and they're going to be coming on in a minute here. My first guest is Robin Moore. Robin, remind me your exact title. I'm so sorry. I always forget.
Hi, Elisa. Thanks so much for having me. I am the president for the Colorado-Wyoming chapter of the National MS Society.
Okay, so guest one. And Tracy and Chris, you're there. Can you just like titles and like, just so, because we'll be talking as we go through the show.
Sure. I'm Tracy, and I'm the founder of Refuge Acupuncture.
I'm Chris, I'm her husband, and
Co-founder.
I'm co-founder, yeah.
Yeah, you're co-founder. Great. Well, thank you all for joining me. Let me talk a little bit about what the show's about, and then I'm going to have Robin join in, and then Tracy and Chris, if you don't mind waiting just a little bit, we'll add you on when we start talking about finding a cure for MS. So, if you are listening to my show today, there are two topics that I'll be blending together. The first is philanthropy and why that's powerful. And the second is MS and why philanthropy for MS is one of my heart missions. So to begin with, I'm going to tell you my story. I didn't know anything about MS at all. And then in his late 40s, my brother was diagnosed with MS. We were living in LA. He had none of what you might call the predictors of MS. He suddenly just had MS. And I knew nothing about the disease. And he was not into sharing. He was going to live bravely and strongly through his life, and told me that he was going to ride that motorcycle all the way to the end, which he did. But I didn't know anything. And so I, as he got a little sicker, as his symptoms got a little more intense, contacted the MS Society and said, I need to learn. I need to know what this is about. And especially because, like I said, he didn't share. He didn't want anyone to know. And the MS Society was there for me when he actually passed away from a reaction to one of his meds. He was one of the first people to, I think he was number 13, to have taken a drug called Tysabri and pass away from a reaction. And because of that, the way Tysabri is now utilized has been changed and can be a great drug for people who can take it, but now they have a way of testing. And ever since then, I have been involved with the MS Society as a fundraiser, and there's a little ego in here. I do Hike MS, and I'm always in the top 10. So where I want to start today is about the power of philanthropy, small philanthropy, and then we're going to talk about MS. So Robin, can you jump on and talk to us about your story?
Absolutely. Thanks, Elisa. You know, my roots are really strong in philanthropy. I'll just give you a little background about me. My parents were amazing, caring, compassionate, spiritual people. My dad was also a colonel fighter pilot Marine and a
Wow.
business owner. So kind of an interesting combination there. But he and they both instilled kind of strong work ethic and leadership to get me kind of into this to leadership and philanthropy. But they also instilled that philanthropy and the importance of supporting people in our community. And so they were big supporters of our church that I grew up in, as well as our nonprofits in the community. So I learned from an early age that I really wanted to have a fulfilling career that made a difference in people's lives in some way. So and my personality is very much caring for people, wanting to make a difference in people's lives, really wanting people to live their best, kind of happy, healthy lives. So that's kind of my roots and upbringing, and that it has inspired me to this throughout my whole career from a young age to pursue work in philanthropy.
So the MS, and we just talked about this briefly a few minutes ago, MS Society now, what's the mission now? It's changed. I want you to emphasize that just for a minute.
So we are, gosh, and I'm blanking as soon as you ask me.
Of course.
So will you say it out loud for me so I don't say it wrong? Because I know you have it right there.
Okay, we'll come back to it because I got to go find it again.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's actually ultimately we finally have put the word cure into our mission just in recent months. So we're out to cure MS while empowering people living with MS to live their best lives. So sorry, that's
okay. No, hey, this is
that's the mission.
So if you're listening and you have MS, I want you to pay attention to that. The MS Society is talking cure. And I'll be talking a little more later about what the MS Society is doing, and then we'll bring on our other guests. Here's, Robin, we have a game we want to play. I want you to first talk about, so many people feel like they have to be a major donor to make a difference. They've got to donate, I don't know, thousands of dollars to change the world. Where do most of donations come from in a nonprofit?
They're less than $100, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
and I would just say that philanthropy is not about how much, it's just giving something. And every dollar counts to every charity out there, and it really does matter.
Right. So I was talking with a friend before I came on the show, and I was saying how often I see the statement, be the change you want to be in the world. And I always want to ask that person in a heartfelt way, how are you doing that? And so you and I are going to play this game, right? We are challenging everyone listening, and there's a lot of you, in case you don't know that. There's a lot of you, to donate in this next hour, the rest of the show, some amount between $1 and $25. No more than $25. You're not allowed to donate more. You can donate anywhere from $1 to $25. My preference is you go to Hike MS, and if you just Google Hike MS 2021, it will come up. You can actually put my name in the upper search bar, and you can donate to my fundraising, or you can just donate to Hike MS by just hitting the donate button, and then message me and let me know, or message Robin Moore. Message one of us. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, oh my gosh, Instagram. Tell me how much you donated. Not to who, just an amount. And if you have another charity, another nonprofit that just calls to you, I want you to donate to them. $1.25. That's my challenge in this hour. I'm not trying to get it for me to be a top 10 fundraiser. I want to show how powerful small donations in a small amount of time can be. So Robin, I want you to talk about, as a fundraiser, right? What have you found? How have you found that that it changes people's lives when they become a philanthropist? And that could be, like we said, $1 a week, let's say. How do people change when they start doing that? Have you noticed?
It's incredible to watch people, because I talk to and know many donors through the MS Society and throughout my many years of my career, and it's incredible to watch people be so inspired by giving, And not just like by volunteering and doing other things, but by giving, people light up. They feel so good about what they're doing. They feel that difference they're making in people's lives. I can think of one of my recent donors just increased his giving by a substantial amount, and he and his wife are glowing now and so excited about being part of our movement and being part of this MS movement and making a difference and heading us towards a cure ultimately.
Right. And if you're out there and you feel like I really can't do the money, okay, can you do an hour at a food bank? Can you do an hour at a Hike MS as a volunteer? Can you do an hour at an event? Again, that's philanthropy, right? I mean, we don't think of it that way, but it's philanthropy. So I know, Robin, you don't have a ton of time, but what I'd love to have you talk about briefly is what keeps you inspired about being with the MS Society, but being in the kind of position you're in. You know, major fundraiser basically is what you do, right?
But we think of it so much different than that, or I do, I should say. It's about the people. It's about the people living with MS. It's about their families, their friends, their networks. One of my newest favorite people is one of our donors and one of our people living with MS with the society. His name is David Sloan, and he would be happy for me to tell his name because he's really been my inspiration over this last couple of years I've been here. He starts his day with, what am I going to do different today to make this world a better place? And so I just live for people living, our people living with MS are our people. The reason I come to work every day, the reason I'm excited to come to work every day is to really make that difference.
That's an amazing thing you just said. In this world of we do need self-care, absolutely. We've seen that if we absolutely need to take care of ourselves, and sometimes taking care of myself is the and. It's what I'm adding to the world. It's the message. We just saw that in the Olympics, right? I need to take care of myself because I can't do this because of the pressure. And the door that opened with Simone Biles, the door that opened for other people. We do it for ourselves and we do it for others. We're philanthropists because it fills us with joy, and we do it for others. So that's really an amazing piece. I know you're busy. And so I promised like only 15 minutes of your day because I know you're so busy. Last things you'd like to say, something you've just been wishing you could say to people on the radio?
I would just encourage everyone to continue with whatever philanthropy they're doing in their lives, because it just feels so good from the philanthropist side and the nonprofit side. So support, donate, volunteer, get involved, and I really think it'll make a difference in your lives as well as the lives of others that you're supporting, whatever that area is.
Right. Yeah, it is amazing that in some of the New Age spirituality, there's all these courses on how to manifest a great life, and mine is, let's start with two things: gratitude and what can I do for others? What is the world asking of me? What does life need from me? And I'm the kind of person who goes in and out of an existential wave on a regular basis, and so having that question in the morning, what can I add today, is lovely. It's so lovely. All right. Thank you, Robin. If you want to stay on, great. If you have busy things to do, let's repeat this. Hike MS. I actually just want you to do a plug. Hike MS is this weekend, and I will be hiking. Robin, do a plug for Hike MS.
Yes, Hike MS is in Keystone, Colorado on Saturday morning. We start registering at 8 a.m. and start hiking together at 9. There's all different links and ability types of courses of routes up the mountain. So there's easy all the way to really difficult, put it that way. Right. And so we hope you'll join us and or support us. And you'll hear that Tracy and Chris are also joining us this weekend. So.
Right. And you can go to if you just type in Hike MS 2021, the webpage will come up. You can put Elisa Robin in that search, and you can donate to my fundraising. You can join my team. I'm Team Newfie. If you feel like just joining a team and showing up, you can do that. You can just donate. you can just be inspired. It's in Keystone. It's going to be amazing. Robin, thank you. And again, if you want to stay on break, I know you might need to leave, but thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, and Tracy and Chris, thanks for joining us as well. It's great.
Right.
I'm going to go off screen, but I'll join for a little longer.
Okay, great.
It's good to see you, Robin.
Cool.
Good to see you.
So if you're just joining us, this is the Dr. Elisa Show on KUHS Denver, the stream. And today's a little different. We're talking philanthropy. We've been talking philanthropy. And now we're going to move into one of my favorite nonprofits, which is the MS Society. And what I want to remind you right now is I have a challenge going. And the challenge is, if you're listening, I would like to see how much change we can be in the world. And I'm asking each of you to donate somewhere between $1 and $25, $25 max, to either your favorite charity or Hike MS, which is the charity I'm hiking for, the nonprofit I'm hiking for this weekend. Because you will be amazed that if every single person listening donated $1, you would be amazed at the change we would make in the world. So, having said that, Tracy and Chris, thank you. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Welcome. Good to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about MS, and the first thing I'd love it if you could do is talk a little more about the disease itself, how it's a hidden disease, and then I think we'll play off each other about the research towards a cure that's more Western, we'll call it, and then how you link that, how you're leading in that area of holistic. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Great. So can you just talk about your experience, why MS, your experience with it?
Well, for me, I was diagnosed with primary progressive multiple sclerosis about 12 years ago. And it's just been a learning process. So that's my part in this, is that I have this horrible disease, but at the same time, it's been a learning process. It's been like, I'm not less than, I'm more than a patient. Diet, and there's all kinds of things that I'd like to talk about. But yeah, I'm the guy that has MS. I'm the one in the group that has it, and I just thank you for having us. And I've I forgot for a while that that even though we're patients and that we're sick, we're still individuals. We're not less than. And we have to take a role in our care just as much as our physicians do. And that took some years to learn and kind of figure that out. And then also there are excellent techniques all over the world that you can utilize, Eastern, Western medicine.
So how old were you when you were diagnosed with
33.
MS? Okay. And a question, and tell me if this is an okay question to ask you. So I have friends. I have met everywhere I go now, because I'm always wearing an MS bracelet or an MS hat or a T-shirt. What do you wish people would just know about this? I mean, I can give you an example. I have one of my friends, dear friends, has MS. I pay very close attention when I'm with her to how hot the room is getting, because I don't want her to be embarrassed by saying it's too hot, I have to leave. But I also don't want her to get sick. What else do you just wish people would know? Can you not hear me anymore? Okay,
There we go, you're back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, good. Thank you. I have a wonderful engineer who fixes all things technical. What do you wish people would just know? Is there something that, if you say to somebody, I have MS, what would you want them to know about you and this disease?
Yeah, for me, it's one of those things where there's not a blanket brush, a one fixes all. And one thing that MS does is highlight that we're individuals and that we need our kind of own care, and we have to figure out what that is along with these physicians in both sides. And that was, for me, is that there is no just one answer for everybody that has the label MS or whatever type it is. It's personal. Our symptoms are, and they're individual, and everybody's different. I think it highlights that in the way of treatment and symptom management.
And what about it being hidden? Do you wish that do you wish that people could see more of what is inside that you feel?
No, I don't. I wish that, you know, I use a cane now all the time. I used to use a wheelchair years ago. And a lot of people think I'm just injured, but part of me would like for them to understand that, you know, I have something more than I have MS. But it's not, I don't know how to approach that with folks, you know, unless they're asked questions or whatever it is. Yeah, part of me would love for everybody to know that I'm pretty sick, and that's why I use this cane, you know, it's not that I twisted my ankle or something.
Right. I think that we want people to know more about the disease and to have compassion that somebody might look fine, but they're not feeling fine. And that's true of so many hidden diseases, if I can use that term, right? If you have a cast on your leg, you get sympathy, right? Like, oh, you broke it, do you have a good story? But if you have a disease people can't see, it's very, very different. So let's, if you're okay with this, what I'd love to do is talk a bit about this sort of marriage of Eastern and Western. And so let me just say that the MS Society is now talking about stopping MS, the stop pathway, which is no new diseases, the end pathway, which is end the disease when somebody has it, and the restore pathway, which is restore any challenged functionality because of this disease. And MS is researching all of that, right? I mean, well, the MS Society isn't, but the MS Society is supporting research in all of these amazing areas. And if you're listening and you have MS, I want you to get those last two. That one, we're getting research on how to stop it, and we're having research on the remyelination, on how to cure it, how to come back from it. But Western medicine doesn't work for everyone. So Tracy, can you talk about how you became involved in this, your sort of journey? You're an acupuncturist and many other things. Can we talk about your story?
I'm not an acupuncturist. I just own an acupuncture, and I'm in school for it. So okay. I give humble respect to those people, the 35 years of experience at Refuge Acupuncture that we have. I came to this quite simply because I met Chris when we were 9 years old. We have a long love story. We connected 6 years ago. He was in a wheelchair. I knew nothing about MS, literally nothing. So I was Googling MS as he's telling me he has MS in a chat. And so, I really started learning about it then. So March 2015 is really the first time I knew much about it, right? And so, then of course realized how prevalent it is with 400,000 people in the U.S. having it. And it's not a small disease. It's one that a lot of people have. Chris has primary progressive, so 10% of that 400,000, so 40,000 people suffer from the same type he has. And I think, for me, what really changed things, so we went to his neurologist together that first year. And honestly, that neurologist pulled me aside, told me that I had everything going for me and that this ends really, really ugly and really badly. And he encouraged me to leave Chris at that time. And so we knew that particular neurologist wasn't our answer, but we were interested to see if we could find another one who might have a human component to him. And then also combine it with some Eastern medicine, because at that time there really was not medicine for Chris. So we did find another neurologist, Dr. Richard Shubin. He put Chris in a medical trial with a Ocrevus, which is a drug that, as you described, is the stop function of the progression of the disease, not necessarily the regeneration, but does help to slow the progression, at least in Chris, not in everyone. And so, watching sort of the combination, I would say, of Eastern medicine, which we came to first, simply because there wasn't Western medicine. So we started with acupuncture and herbs, and that's what got Chris out of the wheelchair. And
okay, I just lost your sound again. So if you can see me, I just lost your sound again. Can you check your, I don't know. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with the connection here. Are you back?
Now?
You're back. You're back.
So
okay.
where'd you lose me?
I lost you with you had the combination of Eastern and Western.
Okay, so Chris, did I talk about the medical trial that Chris went through for Acrivus?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So before that, we had found Eastern medicine. A friend had recommended we try it with an acupuncturist in California. So Eileen Hahn is the worldwide practitioner leading the balance method technique in acupuncture, and we worked with her, got great results with her, and then also combined it with this Western medicine that Chris brought to market, Acrivus. So we believe that Acrivus has stopped it, but we think it's slowed the progression. But then we believe that Eastern is the thing that's regenerating him. So you spoke about the 3 phases, and so we're using them for the second and third that you discussed. And so this past year, it was really tough because acupuncturists can't do things on the phone. I mean, you're using needles, so you have to be in a clinic to do that. And just realizing that not everybody was going to make it through COVID, and our practitioners, we couldn't see them, and we really needed them. So Chris and I just sat down and we thought, if we come out of COVID and the same as we were going in a sense, that's a real loss of an opportunity to have changed and shifted something toward the good. And so as a result, we decided to open an acupuncture clinic that it has real capacity, so we can treat 800 patients a month and 10,000 patients a year. And it's completely ADA compliant. Obviously, it's ability to kind of roll in and roll out as well. Very private rooms. And so we just decided we really wanted to bring this medicine to more people. And so I've been in school for a long time, but we really thought now was the time, because the world needs more healing and we have fewer healers to do it. So we need more of that. And so we're really proud to stand behind the unbelievable doctors that we have working at Refuge Acupuncture.
So tell people how to find Refuge Acupuncture. Where are you located? How do they find you? Do a whole commercial for yourself right now.
Okay, so our mission is to create healing in the world, one human at a time.
And I think your bandwidth is low on your internet, because I just lost you again. So hopefully you're going to be back in a minute. If you're listening, this is the Dr. Elisa Show on KUHS Denver.
Your body.
Okay, are you back? Okay, we lost you for a minute. So go back to go back to your mission statement that you're healing.
Our mission statement is to heal the world, one human at a time.
Perfect. Okay.
And we do that through redirecting your own energy, so that disease cannot be present in the body. So it's all about balance. And we put you in the driver's seat. The patient is center. So everything is about the patient, because we do believe we have the power to heal ourselves, and especially with using some of these methods that we have in Chinese medicine. Where you can find us, we're in Lower Highlands, Denver, so 2525 15th Street, so very conveniently right off of I-25, really close to downtown. We are all over social media, so you can follow us on primarily Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube, and that's handled as Refuge, REFUGE, Acupuncture, for both of those. It's not refugee acupuncture. I get asked that a lot. No, a refuge actually means a shelter or a safe place, and it came to me in prayer. And so really, truly, the idea of coming into a sanctuary that's safe and welcome and open to all, no matter where you find yourself, we meet you where you are at that time. And then from there, we get results. So that's where we're located. That's how to find us. And again, one of our benefits is that we really almost operate some days as a walk-in clinic, because we have so many people that need us, and we have capacity to do that. And so if anyone out there is hurting, as we know, when Chris hurts, he's hurting now. He's not hurting 4 weeks in the future. And so we really wanted to create enough capacity so people can come and get relief on the same day that they need it. So we're really excited about it. And Chris is there almost every day, and he's leading the charge on being, the human that really creates healing for the world.
So it sounds awesome, and I know that you don't have to have MS to come to your center. This is any kind of
almost
healing.
Nobody does, right? It's just an extreme case. It's an extreme case to show that if this is what it can do for someone with primary progressive MS, imagine what it can do for me when I'm anxious or depressed or nervous or I have a stomachache, right? I mean, it really does have power along the large and the small, and I think all of those things are relative to people, right? You don't have to have, a chronic disease to feel horrible. I mean, I feel horrible from time to time, and it absolutely helps me. We do it twice a week, each week, both of us, and it's made a huge difference.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about this blending. Chris, I know that you're co-founder, right? And I just had this little blip that I talked about having an existential crisis. I joke, I live in an existential tide pool. I never have a crisis. The tide just goes in and out. I've talked to some of my friends with MS, and they seem to have a similar experience. Like, what is meaning for me now? Is that an okay question to ask you? Can you talk about that?
What is meaning for me now?
Purpose, meaning and purpose in your life, because you haven't given up. Some people have a hangnail and they go to bed for a month, right? And my friends with MS are so courageous, and clearly you are too. Talk about how you translated a disease into meaning and purpose.
Well, when so many things in your life are removed that you valued and considered extremely important, like career, some friends, hobbies that you had, sports that you play, when all those things go away and you can't do those things anymore. For me anyway, it brought me full circle to where I'm a kid again, and now I'm painting and I'm writing and I'm making music and things like that. Things that I didn't focus really on before, but now I am because of this disability and because of the setbacks that it's given me. And so that's kind of my reasoning for it. But then I'm also just a stubborn person, and Tracy came back into my life and reminded me of these things, of who I am that I had forgotten. And it began with the first step. It began with standing up out of the chair, and having no pressure on that, but to take as long as you need to take that first step.
So it sounds like a combination of love and community, and then not defining yourself by that label, right?
Right. I had defined myself as a patient.
Okay.
As a number. After so many appointments and visits, and I just took it upon myself that I'm more than just a patient. I'm more than just a number. Just because I have MS, I'm still me. It doesn't mean that that's gone anywhere. So that's when I began to take ownership on my disease and my symptom management and things like that, and not just put it on the shoulders of a couple of physicians. That's just as important for me to put these things into action and believe in these things and manifest these things and make them real.
So would you say, because you've both said this now, that perhaps this is the number one, here's the first step, take ownership of your health journey?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the first step, right, and I haven't gone through what Chris has. I think the first step is just giving yourself the emotional space and time to deal with what has been diagnosed. Chris hasn't talked about this, but there were a lot of years in there where he had to unravel
Yes.
what life had been, what it was and what it is now, right? And that was a really painful process to go through, removing.
Okay, we just lost your sound again, so hopefully your bandwidth is going to come back on. And you know, the internet is having a day. Sometimes that does happen. So if you're just tuning in, this is the Dr. Elisa Show on KUHS Denver, the stream, and I'm talking with Tracy Abbott and Chris Hansen about MS. And let me just pause and remind you that I have a challenge going on right now, that each of you, challenging each of you to be a philanthropist in this time period, and to within the next 20 minutes to make a donation of between $1 or $25 to your favorite charity. If you don't have a favorite charity, please consider Hike MS or the MS Society, and let's see how each of us can be the change we want to be in the world. So you're back. Yeah, it's just an interesting internet day. So you were talking about Chris's journey.
The very first step, right? Because you said the first step, and I think you jumped too quickly to like, what are we going to do about it? I think the first step is how do you actually absorb, how do you absorb this information that you've been given that means your life is going to be entirely different from what it was before. Right. And I think, Chris went through years of that adjustment, right? From serving 135-mile-an-hour serve as a tennis pro, which is what he did prior, to walking with a cane and then also being in a wheelchair. That's a pretty big shift in life, and it pretty much changes your outlook on everything that's possible. And so I think being gentle with yourself actually is the first step, is just figuring out that a disease is not you. So you can hate the disease and you can love yourself, but you've got to make that differentiation, because it's really easy to confuse the two. And then for people who love people who are also sick, also easy to confuse those two things sometimes. The only time I get really mad at Chris is usually because I'm really mad at MS, but he's carrying it. So, having to make that difference. And then I think Chris's resilience, right? He's what I knew about him is his willpower. And I think people who have willpower and the desire to live the best life they can, whatever that looks like for them, is really important. And so, to answer your question, yes, we believe medicine, both Western and Eastern, help tremendously. We are also believers, so we believe in God. We pray. We have a lot of people who pray for us. We believe that works and that helps us. And then we have this extraordinary love, and it's childhood love, from 9 years old. And so, I really believe that love and faith can do quite a lot more than what maybe what the world thinks it can. If we just focus there and try to stay in the love space instead of the fear or hate space, I think it's a better place to be.
What's amazing is how you're weaving it together. I know in my life, I've almost died a couple times. Western medicine saved my life. Eastern medicine gave me back my life, gave me my health back, right? And so it is that marriage of the two. And then yes, let's add the spiritual component, and let's add all of those together, because so many times you hear somebody talk about just one. It's just the power of this or just the power of that. And so that's sort of an amazing story. So I love that. So, and again, we saw that at the Olympics, right? With Simone Biles, the gentle on yourself, accepting yourself. And then she said, I now realize I'm more than a gymnast. There's more to me, right? Chris, do you do workshops? Do you counsel people? Like what, clearly you're an artist and a musician and those things now. How are you using that in other ways to help reach out to other people? Or through your art, perhaps? Did I lose you again? Okay. Can't hear me?
Maybe she'll come back.
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay. So Chris, I just want a little more of your story. The artist, the musician, is are you inspiring other people with MS or other diseases through that work?
You know, I'm not really sure, but I know that anytime I'm out the door in the world, I'm always with everyone, whether they're behind the counter at 7-Eleven or at the grocery store or whatever it is. I make it a point to just be with them one-on-one, no matter where it is or how many people are around us. So I try and take every person that I meet as a special event, you know, as something that's important to do. And yeah, I can't hear you. Maybe you heard us.
I heard you. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, we're communicating. We're good. That's an amazing gift. You're basically saying you're choosing to be present with every person you meet.
Yes, and every day that I open my eyes is a new day for managing this disease, and I still have that excitement in a way about just being with others sometimes. And I've got this affliction, I can't lie, so I'm always telling the truth, you know. If I'm like, hey, how are you? You know, things like that. And I think it takes one person can turn into many in one day.
Right. It's the same way that that $1 from everyone can turn into a research around, right?
Yes.
And I just want to mention some of the research that's going on. I'm sure you know about this, but they're looking at blood markers, biomarkers. We're looking at precision medicine. You spoke about this, that MS is really a constellation of symptoms, and each one is unique, and so the treatments have to be unique, which I think most people, right? It's not like I give you an antibiotic for a certain bacteria, right? That it doesn't work that way. We're looking at regeneration. I know I actually listened to a researcher who said they had taught mice to walk again, and that we're seeing, right, that you can relearn, your brain can relearn things, right? And you're an example of that. You were in a chair, and now you're walking, right?
You know, my neurologist in Pasadena, who I love so much, he recently passed, and one of his, I think Tracy had mentioned it earlier, and one of the things that really inspired me and kept me going for years after the study was I went into him and I could feel my left foot better than I could before. And I said, hey doc, I think this medicine's working. And I said, am I a starfish? Am I regenerating? And he said, it's not the medicine, Chris. The medicine's only allowing your body the time and space it needs to heal itself.
Wow.
And so with that one phrase, that really kept me going for years. And he recently passed on July 1st, and it's a sad day.
Wow. So that...
But it to show us that, you know, Eastern medicine, we're, you know, on the Eastern side, you almost expect people to be compassionate, kind, you know, these things. We don't always hear about Western science and neurologists in particular also having that extraordinary heart for people because they study the brain, not the heart. And so, you know, there are great people. I think it's just people. I don't think it's doctors do this and this other doctor does this. I think it really comes from the gift that people are given. And I do believe it is a gift that people who can heal others. And I believe it's a gift. We believe it's a gift from heaven. So, you know, I think it's important to acknowledge that the kind of people that we need for our healing tend to be the kind of people that are drawn to heal us. And so I don't know if that's manifestation, but it certainly does feel like an energetic exchange.
Right. And again, I think then it goes back to after you have this time that is sort of acceptance and research and understanding, that long period you talked about, like my life has changed, then I'm going to be an active participant in this, and whatever works for that person. For some people, their faith and belief is in Western, and that's great and that's grand, and it probably makes it work better for them. And for some people, the belief is in more Eastern, or in that mixture.
Yeah, and one, like, just a comment on that, a book I read that I really love, it describes Western medicine. Western doctors are mechanics, right? You have something broken in your car, so you take it out, you fix it, you stick it back in. And that's the nature of Western. The nature of Eastern is as a gardener. So you look at the entire garden to figure out what the root cause is. Because if you just go taking stuff out and you don't reintegrate it with the system in which it lives, which is our bodies, which is us, then you can end up in disease that way as well. So I think there are things that absolutely only Western science can solve, like car accident. An acupuncturist would probably help your pain level, but they can't fix your broken arm, right?
That's right.
But on the other hand, Eastern can do things, and we see it every day. Eastern does things that Western is limited in doing. So integrative, we just want to preach the integrative message. I think that if you don't find what you're looking for on one side of that house, just add in some complementary things.
Right.
Diet is one of the most important things you can really concentrate on. In Chinese medicine, everything begins with, your brain is actually in your stomach. So everything begins there, and I think that's kind of how we started, was with diet, and we're very serious about diet. Lots of admiration for people out there who've tried and succeeded in using diet to control some of MS symptoms.
Right, and I have to say that as I have pages of notes about the research in MS. Now it's starting to sound the same. That they're thinking some of the take care of your gut, right? Some of MS, it may not start there, but how does that help? Make sure you're exercising. Meditation helps. Being with friends. I mean, all these types of things that we normally think of as Eastern, there seems to be a joining, a coming together of minds of Eastern and Western. So listen, I know I've taken enough of your time, and actually my show today, we're just at the end. So one last question: what keeps each of you inspired?
Tracy.
Okay, so the love of someone in your life keeps you inspired.
Yes, it does. It's my motivation to wake up.
Okay.
I think for me, it's watching medicine change people's lives daily. Watching it change Chris's life, but daily I get to see the effects of people walking in to the clinic feeling horrible and walking out feeling better, and that is for me the biggest purpose that I could find.
Yeah.
That would definitely inspire me. So one more time, how do people find you? And of course, if you're in Denver, this is easier, but how do people find you?
Yeah, Refuge, REFUGE, like a shelter, refugeacupuncture.com. And you can follow us. So we've got a website. You can follow us also on Instagram, on Facebook, and also we have a YouTube channel. And are starting TikTok this week. So we're not quite sure how to make TikTok fun with MS, but stay tuned because we're going to figure it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you at Hike, perhaps. Yes.
Yeah, we're there. We're on a team. So.
All right. I will see you Saturday.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
So, if you are listening, and you've just listened to these amazing guests I've had, this is the Dr. Elisa Show. I just have a few more minutes, just a couple minutes, and I want to wrap up for you. I think what you heard today, and again, I have a challenge going. I want you to be a philanthropist. You can take the rest of the day to do it, but at between $1 and $25. I just want you to donate and let me know. Just an amount, not where it went, because $1 from every person listening could have an amazing impact on the world we live on, right? You could be the change. Just $1 today, maybe 5. You could be the change. What I also want you to hear is that when we talk about some of these diseases, and definitely some that are hidden diseases, like MS, I want you to walk forward with hope. The MS Society is investing in research, and we are finding ways to prevent, to stop new cases, to end MS, and to restore. So when we talk about a cure now, we are finding that there is actually opportunities for restoring. So that if you're out there listening and you have MS and you've not connected with the MS Society, go online, look them up. There are lots of tools and techniques and conversations that will help you live back in hope. And that's what I want for you from this show today. I also want to say that becoming your own advocate is amazing. But I want you to know that these conversations, like the ones we had today, are changing the world of healthcare. So as you become your own advocate, and I know that if you reach out to the MS Society, you will meet people who can help you hold on, find that hope, and hold on to that hope. I'd love to hear from you. I'm on about this, about anything today that spoke to you, perhaps other questions you have, and I can send you in the right direction. You can find me on Facebook, the Dr. Elisa Show, actually Elisa Robin on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn, Elisa Robin. Guess what? I'm on Twitter, Elisa Robin. Oh yeah, Instagram, and I have a website, and you can email me from there, elisarobin.com. So listen, I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dr. Elisa Show here at KUHS Denver, the Stream, my favorite radio station. And no matter what is going on in your life, what I hope is that you leave this show today just a little bit inspired. I'll be back in 2 weeks with an amazing guest, and what I want you to do until then, stay well, stay hopeful, and please, please, please stay inspired. See you soon.